The two shows I'll be talking about today are DC's Titans and Marvel's Runaways. So there will be no feuding over which one is better, Marvel or DC, because in this case, they are both bad. And little disclaimer, I know Titans technically isn't like a teenager show, but it's a teenager show. The entire cast is made up of unnecessarily hot people, so it's a teenage show. Okay? That's all. Thank you. I will continue. At the base of it, I couldn't tell you anything that happened in Titans because far too much happened, and I couldn't tell you what happened in Runaways because absolutely nothing happened. In essence, Titans is the Riverdale of superhero shows, and Runaways is like a Disney show, but like gay people are allowed. My favorite thing to talk about in writing is the characters, so I'll be doing a very long run through of that first, and I'll start with Titans. So first of all, I'm not going to call a certain character his name because I don't know YouTube's demonetization rules, so we're just going to call him Grayson because that's his last name. And I have to be honest, past season 1, I do not give a shit about like his solo plots. They gave him too much like alone time, and I think there are far more interesting characters in the show. And I'm not saying like don't have any solo plots with him ever, but I'm just saying we didn't need a whole solo plot where a hallucination of Bruce just followed him around. I'm gonna be honest, I fast forwarded through most of that episode because I just did not give a shit about what was happening, and Grayson just was the least interesting character at that point. Like, we had Rose that season. Show me what's going on with her right now, please. So my next complaint is about Corey, which she's a very good character. The problem is the people around her. So a while ago I saw like something where it was like, when people are writing lady characters, they don't want to put in the effort to actually make them smart, so they just make everyone around them dumb and incompetent. And I'm not saying this is what was happening here, but maybe? I mean, it could also possibly be because the only people she's ever around is like Grayson and like 2 teenagers. But it felt like that sometimes. It's a valid complaint, and I'll be really honest. The amnesia thing, not my favorite. It's just like a boring choice for the writers to make, and I think they did it fine. There's better ways they could have introduced her character, I guess. Maybe it happened in the original Teen Titans. I'm gonna clarify. I haven't seen like any Titans media. I should probably get on that because I did really like the characters from the show. The show was bad. Yeah, I just thought I should say that about Corey. Her character is basically fine, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. So speaking of teenagers, let's talk about Raven. So for the most part, I really like her character, but one small thing. My hair is parted the wrong way. Shit. So like, where did her little cross thing go? She had this thing where she would like draw crosses when she saw her power. And like, she also burned down a nunnery. I don't know if it was like a nunnery or a church. I don't know the difference. But I feel like that would not help. I just feel like we did get over the whole being afraid of your powers thing, but they cut out like all the religious aspects from it, which clearly impacted her viewing of her own power, but they just kind of threw that away. I mean, I wish we could have done something with that was interesting to me, but I guess not, which was like, one of the first scenes in the movie was like her like super religious fake mother person being like super scared of her powers and having a bunch of crosses everywhere. I just thought we should have addressed that more. That would have been nice. So next I want to talk about Hank and Dawn. Personally, I liked Hank's character during the last 2 seasons. He wasn't anything super compelling to me in like season 1. And I don't really like the way they handle his backstory. So I have a whole thing about flashbacks in the show that's not really included in the character section, but this part includes a flashback, so I just thought you should know that a part about that will be coming up soon. And out of all the flashbacks, his backstory was my least favorite because I thought they handled it really horribly, and I was super uncomfortable during like the entirety of that episode. There's a whole issue with flashbacks in the show, like I said, and I'll get to it later, but I just feel like we didn't need it. I feel like we didn't need that flashback. That was not necessary. And now, one of the only characters, I really like how they were handling Hank's character, and now, spoilers, if you haven't seen season 3, he is dead, so Okay, so here's my controversial take that will make me sound sexist, but it will apply to men later, so hear me out. Donna and Dawn are like almost the exact same character. So the big difference was that Dawn had Hank, and also like Donna did some Amazon things from time to time. But the problem is now, well, we know Donna had Aquaman like a while ago, and those two were getting it on. But now they both have dead lovers. So I'm very scared that now they're just gonna be the exact same character. They're both like smart, powerful, kick-butt women who aren't as like strong and impulsive as like Corey. They're more experienced. They both have known Grayson for a very, very long time, and they both have dead lovers that they were very attached to now. I really hope they fix that in the next season, because season 4 is confirmed, and I will be watching it, but perhaps I will pull a ahoy matey and pirate my booty somewhere else. Don't tell the DC showrunners I said that, or the authorities, please. Short section right here. I, like everyone else who watched the show, hate Bruce / Batman in this show. He has a bad personality and we barely see him. And also, he was introduced and then I started to get bored of Grayson, and we don't really see Bruce. And we don't really see Bruce without Jason. So I just didn't really see Bruce anymore after season 1. And I just didn't care for his character. I wish Alfred were alive. That would make this show better. Unless they totally ruin him too. In that case, maybe, like, don't. Maybe it's better this way. How should I start this? Let's start at the beginning, because I have some controversial thoughts on Jason's character. So, the first time we see Jason appear, he shows up and he rescues this guy he's been looking up to, you know? And Bruce has probably talked Jason up, and Jason is, of course, the original Robin. So it's like, whoa, I'm meeting the guy that was like the first Robin, and now I'm Robin. This is so cool. He's like, what do they call the first person in things? Grayson set all the precedences. The thing they talk about in history class.
When they're like, oh, technically the 4-year term isn't a rule, but George Washington did it, so now he set the precedent. I'm sorry for my non-United States viewers. That's George Washington only stayed in office for 4 years, and it isn't an official rule, but it's a thing now. You're only allowed to be president for 4 years because our first president only wanted to be president for 4 years. Because we really hate kings. Go off, I guess, dude.
Sorry for the US history rant. I just had a test on it today. So immediately, Grayson hates him because Jason is basically replacing Grayson. I'm gonna mix these names up at least once during this video. I know it's talked Jason up. Jason is, of course, the original Robin. So both Grayson's hatred and inherent strictness, sort of, and like precautions and stuff, leads to Jason going off impulsively, basically on his own, and getting kidnapped, which causes the entire team to like have to set aside everything and like focus on rescuing him. So that probably hurts. And then he gets physically hurt and mentally hurt. Did he get physically hurt technically? Because he falls off a building, like a skyscraper building. And I'm gonna pull an absolute physics mastermind moment right here. As all my people know, landing on the ground isn't the thing that kills you, it's the fall. So it doesn't really change anything that Connor sort of grabbed him. Oh, I did not plan to talk about Connor. I'll get to him later at the end because I forgot he existed. And then other stuff probably happened. And then we had a scene that like particularly bothered me, which was the scene where a certain someone is standing on the roof. Sorry if you have not watched the show. Again, trying to not get demonetized, but Jason is on the roof. And as someone who has had experience with metaphorically standing on the roof, I would like to have a little over-analyzation of this scene. And this is where I have to admit, I like Jason's character. Fuck, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I know a lot of people are like, this isn't what the original Jason acted like, and he does get worse. And he's really obnoxious. But I'm also really obnoxious. So, we match. So he's just kind of standing there. He honestly doesn't look like he's about to, you know. And then Mr. Grayson walks out.
I keep falling. You're okay. No.
And I just, again, over-analyzation, here I go. So he doesn't look like he's about to, you know, try not to get in my head about this. But, honestly, when I was thinking about you knowing, it wasn't really about you knowing. It was about the fact that I couldn't control anything in my life. And everything was going mediocrely/badly. And as a teenager, I do think a lot of people feel that way. So I don't think he was actually going to, you know. But I think there's a certain, like, level of control you feel, because in that moment you do feel like you have control over your entire life, quite literally. So do I think he was going to, you know? No, I don't. But I think he's extremely mentally damaged.
Follows me like a curse.
Nothing's following you. Can I tell you something? Something I never told anyone.
And then Mr. Grayson, he wanders out and Jason starts talking, and honestly, again, as someone who's, you know, just be a positive parental figure in this poor kid's life.
Listen.
Bruce wasn't the first one, you know. He tried to help me. You can make a list. Relatives, teachers, cops. You. Nobody's been up to the task, Dick.
Bruce is emotionally distant, we know that, and he, like, doesn't properly talk to his kids. Grayson's kind of Grayson's first name, so, you know. And there are, like, no other adults in the Titans Tower. And something I forgot to acknowledge was that he was probably, like, homeless or something before Bruce adopted him because he was literally stealing hubcaps. I don't know if people who steal hubcaps are homeless, but again, probably no positive, like, parental figures. Please give him a positive parental figure, I'm begging you. But that's probably not gonna happen because people like to watch angst. And you can't have angst when there's a proper parental figure. And that's the end of my rant. I don't have very many opinions about past that. It is very sad that, like, straight up no one mourned for him after he died. Like, what was up with that? Like, not even Grayson did, to my remembrance. Like, I think Bruce was like, do you want to be Robin again? And Grayson was like, no, I don't want to be fucking Robin again. And that was like all. That was like the most of it that we got. Again, Dr. Crane, not a positive parental figure right there. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching the first season of this, I was like, oh my god, Jason looks like a TikTok fuckboy. I sure hope he doesn't start vaping. Like, that was a serious thing I was, like, joking about. I had no knowledge of what happened in season 3. That's like... I could be a writer for this show. I'm just saying. And I'll get to the Lazarus pit later. I have many opinions on that. But I think that's all for Jason. So, last but certainly not least, Gar. The problem with him is that he doesn't have enough screen time. There's not enough of him, simply. His last plotline was literally just moseying around looking for Jason, and that didn't really do anything. Again, there was a lot of stuff happening, so maybe I straight up forgot, but I feel like nothing came of that. And he was also, like, the only one who fucking gave a shit, which really rubbed me the wrong way. Also, Gar didn't even mourn for him. Like I said, no one mourned for this child. But now he's out looking for him. I mean, just the writers on the show befuddle me. They stun me. They amuse me. Yeah, so I'm still angry about no one mourning Jason. Anyways, the only plots I can remember is, like, he meets Raven and leaves the Doom Patrol. He has to hang out with Connor, so he gets mind controlled and he looks for Jason. His character and, like, the rest of them could all be doing so much better. Before I get to Runaways, I should probably run through Connor's character. And I'm not gonna run through Blackfire, even though she has, like, one of my favorite duo scenes in the show.
Let's go.
I understand now. The tiny green one isn't your manservant. Clearly, he satisfies your urges.
That was funny. I like her. I think she's very cute. And it's like, oh, so he's your manservant. I cracked up. But Connor, I liked Connor's, like, solo episode. That was fun. See, I don't mind him as, like, I don't mind his solo episode. That was fun. But I feel like each character should only have, like, one solo plot per season, please. Or they could just work together. Because they're a team. Even though that, like, never fucking happens. That's, like, another issue in the show. That they just don't have any character development and they never work together. I don't care for his relationship with Blackfire. I think it's a little bit weird. Not, like, specifically about, like, the fact Connor was, like, a few months old, technically. But it just rubs me the wrong way. I feel like, not to be that person, but, like, they're horrible at characterizing these characters. Connor is not the kind of guy who would just have sex, I feel like. He would want to have a date first, maybe? I mean, maybe I'm reading his character wrong, but again, it's hard to read these characters because they don't have any definitive character traits. Yeah, I feel like Blackfire would be better suited with someone who would like match her level of energy and stuff. Not like in a cute, sweet way, but like in a, I'm angry and I'm slightly evil kind of way. Like, I would love her like paired with someone who would like, they would be like rivals and stuff. That would be fun, but like playful rivals, you know? But yeah, I feel like after the first episode with him, they just kind of flip-flopped around his character, and I wasn't a huge fan. Again, another highlight scene would be him being like, you have money? And then just stealing the poor woman's money. I think that was funny. Okay, time to move on from Titans to a show I didn't even finish. I just gave up. Maybe I'll return to it, but I just got really bored and wanted to watch a different show, so. Let me move on to the characters. It's going to be faster than Titans, I promise you. So I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I don't like Greta. She's just the main character from Moxie, which like, yikes. And I feel like I shouldn't have to explain further. But she's just, I don't want to say a bit too much because that sounds like I'm anti-feminist, but there are different ways to be feminist than like doing that. I don't know how to phrase it. Her romance with Chase is annoying to me. It rubs me the wrong way. Enemies to lovers, but not like in the fun rivalry way, as previously mentioned in the like,
Oh, I don't like boys. I'm a feminist. I'm a man, actually, and I'm like slightly hot, and I gave you one piece of attention, and I'm also a jock who's like in love with you for some reason. Oh, no, I don't like you. Like,
no. And also, she's like low-key homophobic.
Because you don't want to be alone with him. Because he kissed you. And you don't like him. You like Nico, who likes Alex.
We should go.
What was that even? What was her, I know like one of them was like joking about her like being with Chase, but joking about some straight girl's relationship is completely different from turning around and telling like someone, oh, I know you're gay. I know you're gay. That's like far more threatening and less funny. Maybe it's just because I don't like Greta and I feel like people should get away with bullying her, but like, what was that about?
We should go.
Speaking of Chase and Alex are like the exact same character. There, I said it. Here's the proof I'm not sexist, because these two are also the same character. Sure, Alex is like a nerd and Chase is a jock, but it counteracts each other because Jason's actually also smart and like does computer stuff, but so does Alex. But when you have two really smart characters, you have to make them smart in different ways. Whether that's like book smart and street smart, or like one field of science and another field of science that completely are separate but also complement each other. You need to do one of those, not make them smart in the exact same way without like clarifying anything. Marvel fans, especially Marvel show fans, Fitz and Simmons. Simmons is like a biology person, she's like a doctor, whereas Fitz is like technology, beep boop, beep boop, I invent stuff kind of guy, which I would appreciate a lot more than just, they both kind of do computer stuff and they seem like the exact same smartness, you know? And they both also just want to be in charge, and they both think they're better than each other. And it's like they're the exact same character, only one's like tall and like traditionally hot and the other one's got glasses. Yeah. And also Chase has bigger daddy issues, but they also both have daddy issues because all of their parents are like evil people. But like I feel like trying to kill your son is like on a different level, so little opinion here. Nico and Carolina's romance is like a bit rushed, but maybe that's because I'm used to like being queer baited and this feels so much like a Disney show and I'm just like, oh, they're together now. Oh my gosh, I forgot that was the thing they could do. Again, that's like, maybe it's me, maybe it's the show. And I feel like another practicality point, Nico would not be wearing that many black layers outside. Like, they're homeless. And I understand, like, the practicality of, like, keeping your clothes on you, because you might ruin your clothes. I've never been homeless before, if that wasn't clear. I've never been close to homeless. But I also live in Florida, and they live in California. So we're both places that literally don't get snow. So unless this was filmed in the winter, which judging by the other people's outfits, it's not, you would die of a heat stroke. You would have like constant headaches. Nico's character, I didn't have any feelings about her character. This show doesn't, none of the characters have definitive personality traits again. Because Carolina also, like, the only characteristic is that she's being affected by others. It's like, oh, I've had a secret power I've had all my life, and I'm also gay, but my parents don't like either one of those things. But like, what are her other personality traits? Nico's emo, sure, but like, the dinosaur is cool, I guess. Also, I think the show would be a lot better if the parents weren't there and everything about them was like a surprise that we learned from the kids' perspective, and we had to find out about it from the kids, because that would be fun. Like, we were placed in the heads of these kids. Like, imagine just being shot by your dad with almost like no context. I can't even remember the context again. I have a really bad memory. I forgot about Molly. I also had to recall her name there. She is kind of cute, you know? She's the young one. She's a little bit rebellious. She's a little bit kooky. She always has that hat on. She's also strong, and she's also the young one. She's rebellious. Maybe all these characters are just really bland. It's almost as if I'm leading to a conclusion that I have scripted. So here are my more minor critiques of both shows. I've always had this thing with the concept of death in certain shows. And the concept of death in Titans is already screwed twice over, because there is a magical afterlife train that you can just sort of hop off on. Then you can go over the magic bridge and be alive again, which takes almost no effort, as long as you can fight like zombies? I don't remember what they were. And there's also the evil pit of random memories that have no correlation or reason to be there whatsoever. I also hate flashbacks. All of them can be shown and not told through like character interactions or like other things. So maybe just do that. And fun budget saving tip, it'll cost less money. Why just hire better writers instead of having like 20 flashbacks per episode, please. Okay, I don't think they do that as much anymore, but it pained me so much in the first season. Or maybe I just fast forward through all of them in the last few seasons and I just don't remember. Just don't do flashbacks. So it's hard to talk about critiques of Runaways because, as I said, almost nothing happened. Their parents are evil. They end up finding out they've all got something special except for Alex and technically Chase, I think. But he builds its own because he does robotics, apparently. And they battled their parents. Now they're homeless. There's something living under the earth now. And there's a mystery person at the hideout. And then I stopped watching because I was bored. And also, that plotline was just so annoying and boring that I did not like it. And I wanted to watch other shows. Other better shows. So yeah, And that plot also went exactly how you would think. There are like one or two characters who really want this guy to stay, and the rest of them are like, he needs to get out, and then they let him stay, and then he does really more suspicious stuff, and then that's where I stopped. I don't even know if he's good or bad, but judging by the fact that it's like Disney show, I would think he's going to hang out with them some more. Maybe he'll have like a choice where it's like, oh, do you want this chance to be bad and get rewarded for your behavior, or do you want to be good and get punished for your behavior? Or he's like, he started out as evil, but like the whole group made him want to be good, so now he's getting a redemption arc. Probably one of those two, but I guess I'll never know unless I get really, really bored one day. So at its core, I did not think the Runaways plot was like horrible or anything. It was very slow though, and I don't think it had the good characters to like hold it up, you know? It didn't want to make me wait around for exciting things to happen just to see the characters doing their own thing. Also, I don't like the parents. Get them out of here, please. And Titans has a similar problem where it's like there's so many plots, and some of them are pretty good, and I don't expect all of them to be good because there are so many, but the characters in between all of these plots don't really have time to develop or grow, and we never really get to see the character. Maybe someone likes a certain character, someone likes another character, or maybe someone wants to see two of these characters interact more, but it doesn't happen because we just keep getting more plot lines shoved in our face, and the characters never have time to just talk to one another or develop as human beings, except for Grayson.
If there are any second graders in the crowd, when your English teacher, or every teacher I guess, your teacher for every class because you have only one teacher, when that teacher asks you what's the most important thing in a plot, and they give you three choices: settings, plot, or characters. Say characters, because setting doesn't matter. There can be a bad setting, but if it has interesting characters and a good plot, it'll probably still work.
If it has a bad plot, but a good setting and good characters, then they can probably hold the piece of media up on its own, the story. But if it has a good plot and a good setting and no good characters, then it's probably just shit, you know? The end. Go watch Doom Patrol. So have fun, and don't forget, you also need to be a good character. That's my life lesson for today.